Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. 7 years ago, I was teaching at a different school. This was in Redmond, Washington. One day I was at the break room eating and preparing some things for class when a custodian broke a large fluorescent light bulb. A little bit of background: those things contain mercury. And a little bit more background: I am autistic, and I really have to watch my exposure to mercury, whether it be from my diet or from my environment like that. Give you an idea how sensitive I am. When I was in Taiwan, I became a little bit of a detector for how much mercury fish had. Within hours of eating fish that has too much mercury, I feel the symptoms of it. So, long story short, to keep myself safe, I very hastily left the building, grabbed everything that I needed, and I emailed the class saying that there was a little bit of an emergency. We'll make up the class at some point. And then I called the school. Actually, it was very difficult to find the right people to find out what they were doing to clean that up. It would have been good. I made up the class and everything, but somebody complained to HR, and some people are not very nice about this. They might not have realized that the reason I left a mess was because of mercury, but seriously, do you need to put everything into a box, including food that was going to rot, into a cardboard box? I mean, that's just passive aggressive, in my opinion. Especially if they already knew it was me, they could have given me a phone call at least, or an email. Not even that, and just go straight to HR. Whatever the situation is, the HR person came to have a chat with me, and the HR girl was a little bit younger than me. I want to say she was in her early 20s, first job ever. And when I explained the mercury and the autism, she had no idea what those two words meant. And she just laughed at me and said I'm making excuses. Now, it's one thing to not know what mercury is. It's one thing to not know what autism is, but at least use some common sense. If somebody made a mess and the first thing they do is to go onto Google to find what kind of excuse can I make and read about mercury and autism, do people react that way? I mean, use common sense at least, right? And acknowledge that there are things that you might not understand, right? Right? Most people are not going to make excuses about leaving a mess by coming up with a medical issue, coming up with an environmental issue. Most people don't do that, right? I think the real problem was that I for some other reason, I fell out of favor with people there, and it makes me nervous every time I have to complain about these health issues at work. They never seem to go 100% well. I was working at another tutoring center. This was in 2022. We had just relaxed our mask mandates. I know, 2022. We were kind of late in Seattle because we had a second wave. People were excited to be able to take their mask off and to be able to eat fast food at the tutoring center. Some of these foods that these kids are eating, I have severe milk allergy, and I have to keep some distance away from them, and I have to encourage them. I'd like to help you more, but I'm very allergic to milk product. How about next time you come? Can we leave the food for later? Something to that effect. A very positive way of saying it, but my boss got very upset about it. And when I explained to him about my allergies, he laughed at it. And this is a guy who's in his 50s. I mean, he came from he's an immigrant. And when I did some background research afterwards, I discovered that food allergies are not very prevalent in their race. And but at the very least, how about common sense? Does somebody who only isolates when there's food present? Like, if I didn't, let's imagine I didn't want to do a good job, would I only do it when food is present? I mean, this is one of those things where a little bit of common sense can go a long way. I ran into another food allergy kind of situation at my current job at a different tutoring center here in Phoenix, and it just instantly brought back, oh my god, how am I going to bring this up? And so I was very cautious. It was kind of like, you guys remember when the first time I ever made a very large bismuth geode. It was like 10, 15 pounds. I very, very carefully put it into the picture frame. Having to navigate another food allergy situation with one of my students um, just brought back, I got to be very careful how I handle this. And then the next thing I did was to check all the light bulbs in the office, and I'm very pleased that they use LED light bulbs. Right, if mercury spills at another workplace, that's it. I cannot handle that. It's a very odd sensitivity, and a lot of people are not going to fully grasp it. I've learned the hard way that sometimes less is more, though. Just say that. Okay, thanks for letting me know about the mess. I had a little bit of a medical situation. I certainly didn't mean to leave food to rot, but I had a medical situation, and leave it at that. What kind of medical? It's kind of personal. But thank you. Thanks for cleaning up the light bulb spill. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.